Hello everybody and welcome back to Reddit, read by someone better than Google Translate. What can I say? I try my best. My name is Edinger, and today we're doing a bit of Reddit content. Today's thread is, what's one weird trick does a profession actually hate? You know, like those memes back in the day would be like, you'd be going on some shitty newspaper website and it'd be like, this one trick saved California man $10,000. Accountants hate him. That's what we're going for today. Also, by the way, today's video is still sponsored by my prints. Pick up prints today. Beautiful, photographic, campfire, foggy boat, a little bit of arty beginning. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Lunar cycle in A4 because the other one sold out. Let's get into it. Exercising your right to remain silent. Law enforcement hates it. No, but actually, the amount of times, I don't know if you guys have seen all those YouTube videos that exist where you watch like the criminals being interviewed by detectives who trick them into talking. Just don't talk, all right? This is a thing in the US, and I don't know if a lot of Americans know this, but in the UK, you actually don't really have the right to remain silent in that if you could have said something and you held back and then they find out later, it actually does incriminate you, as opposed to the US, where if you don't say anything, you know, that's your right. You have that Fifth Amendment right. One of those things. I actually wish I did have that in the US. I understand why it's not a thing here, but I do appreciate that as a right. So I do miss that one. Can I search your car? No, thank you. Or in the UK, can I come in to make sure you don't have a working TV for this lack of TV license? You just say no. You don't have to let anyone into your house without a warrant. They don't have a warrant. Well, they aren't coming into my house. Okay. Walking away from a car deal because you're not happy with the terms. It is such a weird thing that in today's modern day and age, you have to go to a car dealer in the States to get a car most times, but that's because of corruption and laws written by people with money. So yikes, not a fan of that. Travel agents hate how easy it is to design and plan your own vacation. This is true. I've planned and designed so many of my own vacations, especially during COVID. I was just kind of getting cabin fever and I was trying to imagine myself as traveling. So I planned a full 14-day road trip in New Zealand. I did one of Bali. I also did one of hiking the Swiss Alps. So hopefully when everything opens up fully, I can do some travel vlogs again on the old second channel, of course. Homeopathy. Doctors hate it. Because it doesn't work. Yes, just rubbing your tummy and standing on one foot as you rub a crystal isn't really going to help you. Eating seaweed isn't really, like, you can like do that as well as some real, through the scientific method, proven science. But yeah, homeopathy, not a fan of pseudoscience. If you can find some real stuff, okay, I'll take it, but just believe in the science, folks, okay? People who lie about bad customer service experiences at a restaurant to get free stuff should be throat punched. Boy, I used to be a waitress at a cocktail bar and would get chewed out and left on the brink of tears because of this BS. Excuse me? Oh, so you're saying like customers will leave and then say they had a bad experience with the server so that way they can get a free experience on the next time with extra loogies, hopefully, in their food. That is dreadful. And if you are lying and possibly threatening someone else's livelihood by saying that they did a bad job when they didn't, I agree. Throat punching. Let's start. I'm ready, okay? Previous server, I will start the punches. Using acrylic paint on glass is just as effective and stunning as real stained glass. Spotted on YouTube recently. No, it's not. It looks horrible and undermines what we do. Yeah, I didn't know how widespread this was, but this has a lot of upvotes. So I feel like the acrylic glass and or stained glass community is thriving well on Reddit here. This is such an obscure one, but totally and completely understand what you mean. Yeah, sometimes you might think you found a cheap alternative, but from my personal experience in the last like 4 or 5 years of trying to upgrade kit and stuff, every time I've cheaped out and thought I could save money, it's burned me in the end. So you get what you pay for. If you are really nice to dumb people, they will admit crimes. If you are really curious and talkative around smart people, they will eventually provide you essential evidence to take them down. The only winning move is to shut up. It doesn't matter how smart you are. This is what we just talked about. Number one thing in the thread as well, do not talk to law enforcement. Even if it's something as basic as you get pulled over, the cop says, do you know how fast you were going? The first words out of your mouth, you're probably going to say something like, oh, I was going like 67, like 2 miles an hour over the speed limit. You've just admitted to committing a crime, hypothetically, because the speed limit would be 65, you know? Just keep silent. Or maybe not in that instance, okay? I'm just giving you weird examples, but in that instance, I would probably just be like, oh, I'm so sorry, officer. I've gotten out of it before. I was really close to getting a ticket because I was being tailgated, so I was speeding to avoid the stress. Guy pulled me over. I was like, sorry, man, I'm late for youth group. Didn't get a ticket. Hell yeah. I mean, Jesus, yeah. There's actually logo generators for brands. What? I need a new logo. I don't. I just made this one, actually, for my old prints. Heyo. Quite a few companies opt on using these instead of hiring a designer. There's also Fiverr. It's mostly organic designers who charge you only a few bucks for a logo design. At the very least, it's a case of you get what you pay. Oh, yes. I actually tried to get a little icon designed on Fiverr, I think like a month or two ago for my Twitch. It looked so horrible. The guy wouldn't work with me. And I was just like, okay, that's 10 pounds worth. I got this terrible thing that looked like I could have designed this when I was in 3rd grade. But hey, I'm now working with an actual designer for some future emotes and stuff. So that's what, you know, I don't know what I expected. The designs were so bad, it had me twitching. Not good. Not self-employed people doing their own taxes. That is true. I'm sure most accountants would hate that. And then coming to me with a box of receipts for help, asking me to write off every meal they had the last year. Listen, I genuinely think everyone should at least attempt to understand how to do their own taxes, especially if in the US, unless you're an expat where it becomes so incredibly difficult to do that it's genuinely impossible. But just work with an accountant for the most part. It's just too much. I hate that you have to do this, but that's just how the US is at the moment. Consuming less calories than you burn will cause you to lose weight, and it's despised by every fad diet professional. Yeah. If you take in fewer calories than you burn, you will lose weight. It's just a matter of how slow of a process that is, but that is as simple as it can get. I've had people on Reddit get mad at me for saying, you can't outwalk a shitty diet. Walking more is great, don't get me wrong, but any real weight loss begins in the kitchen. Just like any real gains begins in the kitchen. It's the worst thing. You know, I just want to be able to eat everything and anything and also work out and have a 6-pack ab. Just one 6-pack ab. But sadly, you just got to be super into like calorie counting and everything. And personally, I found that so stressful. I'll probably get back into it now that summer's coming up, but oh God, not looking forward to it. Unionizing. Bosses hate it. Yeah, but it gives you more workers' rights. Unionizing is always a good idea. It's just so frustrating how I felt like in like, I don't know, the early 20th century, America was such at the forefront of like, yeah, give workers more rights. Unionizing is great. And then somehow we just got so much disinformation thrown at us like, no, that's really bad, actually. The companies are really great. Unionizing is bad. And the biggest union I can think of that would be a great idea for you to join right now, if you haven't joined it, by the way, is my YouTube channel. Subscribe today. Jack of all trades, master of pun. It's all a big community. Come on down. Hit the subscribe button. Eat us. BuzzFeed. Not replying relevantly into a Reddit thread. BuzzFeed hates it. Stop watching Antique Roadshow or similar and assuming because some random guy in Milwaukee has an antique Indian ceremonial blanket worth $60,000 or some other random rare antique that you do too. You don't. Well, pawn shop employees getting mad on Reddit. Stop buying so much and taking on stupid debt for that stupid shit you don't need. Banks hate not having their hand in your back pocket 24/7. Yeah, as a rule of thumb, I actually would, as a non-financial advisor, recommend getting a credit card, but only ones, especially if you haven't had one before, that are free at first, and also making sure you pay them off at the end of every month no matter what. Like mine automatically comes out of my bank account, whatever I've spent on my credit card, at the end of every month. And you might be thinking, well then what's the point between that and a debit card? Free flights, my friends. I get so many free flights just because I go, whoop, I'll put American Express as the middleman and thank you, I'm going to Germany, all right? Pretending to know better than an expert because you spent 5 minutes on Google. No, but if I spent 10 minutes on Google, all right, I'm getting there. I'm a good Googler. As an IT professional, there's never a shortage of people who think setting up a wireless router at home qualifies them to critique on a firewall or load balancer architecture. Yeah. But then again, I also really, really hate when people in tech support talk to me as if I don't know what I'm doing when I most definitely do know a lot more than they're giving me credit for. But hey, my doctor says he hates it when patients show up telling him that they have illnesses they read about on WebMD or some similar sites. That's just the issue of these websites trying to kind of scare you to get you to read the whole thing. I genuinely read something this morning. I woke up last night just in a fevered sweat. And I was like, what's going on? It's not even that hot in my room. Why am I covered in sweat? I was like, what is this? Because I'm overstressed, maybe. I had a lot of work to do with the prints and I was really stressed it wasn't going to work, maybe. I'm Googling it. I kid you not. The first paragraph of the result says, this could be linked to cancer. It's rare, but what do you mean it could be linked? What, are you kidding me? Anything could be linked to cancer at this point. Ridiculous. I hate that type of stuff so much. Whoa, I have never known this. When you ask for fries without salt at McDonald's, it forces them to start a whole new batch of fries, especially when it's busy. I'm assuming that does make them hate you. So I'm like, oh, heck yes, I can get fresh fries, but also those employees, man, they've been through a lot that day. But also, I do sometimes ask for like a double cheeseburger without pickles, even though I like pickles, just because I do want a fresh burger. I don't want an old one. So, hey, that's a trick. They hate it, but hey, it's not so bad. Now, in terms of making my boss angry, the one trick you can do to piss him off a lot, subscribe to my channel, because that way you tell him what you want to do, not the other way around. Don't make YouTube decide. You decide for yourself. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Make new videos every single Sunday. Lots of Reddit ones, it seems. Hey, doing pretty good, right? Also, if you want to check out my second channel for some more personal stuff, I got a couple vlogs up recently, going around to the Thames, taking photos of my friends, and also doing the behind the scenes of all the prints that you guys purchased this week. Thank you very much for that. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.